We are live, y'all. Give me 1 second. Let me just post real quick to a couple places. And I got the messages drafted already. So, all right, there we go. Pull up my channel over here real quick. All right, cool. I think. Yep, we're live. All right, we are live. Thank you very much, Josh Guindon, aka Salem Witch, aka JoshGuindonPoker. I really appreciate you being here. It really means a lot to me. Everybody, we have a special guest here with us today, our very own Stream Team fam. He is a father, he is a husband, he is a lead ER doctor, he is our ClubWPT ambassador. I am so sincerely grateful for you to be here. I can't thank you enough for your time today. Really excited about this interview today. This one's really personal for me. I truly consider you a friend and been very fortunate to chat with you on and off the felt stuff, and really excited to share your story with the world. And it's kind of one of the reasons why I've been wanting to do these is I think I've been very fortunate to cross paths with so many amazing people in the poker community, and I want to share their stories and figure out how people like yourself who come to be and get to know more about who you are, and not just your poker journey, but who are you. And so that's why we're here. So thank you again, Josh. Again, welcome in. And ClubWPT ambassador Josh Guindon. Josh Guindon, it is your mic. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you, my man.
No, I appreciate you, buddy. When you asked me to do this interview, I was super excited. I mean, I've done a few interviews now, but there's nothing like doing an interview with a friend, you know. And what a stand-up guy you are. Like I've been saying this time and time again. I'll say this till the day I die. Like you're doing more for the poker community right now than probably anyone I know, for sure. And a lot of people may not know this, but you're a freaking crusher. How many packages did you win last year and the last couple of years? Like 9, 7, some.
A couple.
Some that you're like Dan Seppiel on the free roll crushing the game right now. So I'm excited to see what you're doing in poker, see what you're doing to build our poker community at Club WPT, the World Poker Tour. Really impressive stuff you're doing. So just happy to be here, you know, humbled and just honored. It's pretty great.
Appreciate you, my guy. We got
Yeah, buddy.
Cabby's in the chat. Appreciate you, Cabby, coming on in.
Hey, Cabby.
So, what I'd like to do, and this is kind of one of the things I've been doing, is I really like to go back to the beginning. You and I've had you on the mic here a couple times. I've had you for the WPT prep stuff. We had some crushers on here, picking the brains of of others in the community, how to prep for the big event like this, a festival. It's got a lot of things going on and a lot of things pulling you away. We did some clips when you were at the WPT Seminole Hard Rock, like some live updates, which was really awesome. But I really wanted to give you the stage to kind of share your story and who is Josh Guindon, and where did you come from? Where are you at now? And how did you get into poker? And we'll get more into the poker stuff as the conversation gets along. But really just want to share with the world, who are you? Where are you from? I'll let you kind of take it away from there. Where are you from? What are you doing? And what was your first encounters with poker? How did you first learn about the game?
Yeah, cool. I think you covered the highlights. You know, I'm from Arkansas originally, grew up there, and started playing cash games, got to college, and didn't have a lot of money for tournaments, so mainly just stuck to cash games and really cut my teeth playing cash, and had a pretty good win rate there and for over many years. And then just later in life, in the last few years, been getting into MTTs, and I've played online pretty extensively over the last 15, 20 years. So yeah, the focus now is on live poker. Still playing online, of course, but balancing that out with being a full-time or basically full-time emergency room doctor too. And I've got 2 boys, 3 and 8 months, and I'm married, so we're in pretty busy guy, you could say. But yeah, living in Boston currently with my wife and family, and yeah, playing as much poker as I can online when the time commits, but Really committed to Club WPT. Just got announced last couple months as the Club WPT ambassador. So first one ever, pretty exciting. It's such a privilege to represent everyone at Club WPT and the Stream Team fam that, you've been there since the beginning, and I've been there in the last 3 or 4 years too. And just incredibly honored. One of my colleagues, she said that I'm the luckiest person she's ever met, and I believe that, So I'm just on they're calling it a Sun Run, the World Poker Tour. This is what the ambassadorship is based on the play. The start I've had the first five main events, cashed all five. So, but yeah, I just
Absolutely
run way
incredible.
above average. I'm a decent guy, pretty lucky, and just running on a Sun Run. So
That's cool. If I remember
yeah,
correctly, you're from the South. You moved to Boston for
yeah.
this job, right?
Yeah. So I from Arkansas originally. I
That's
went
right.
to college in Missouri, went back to medical school in Arkansas, and then went down to Houston, Texas to be an emergency room doctor at the busiest trauma center in the country. That was pretty wild down there. I was there for a little over 3 years. A helicopter would fly 150 miles out and pick patients up and farm accidents, shootings, stabbings, you name it. They'd bring them in via helicopter, and then I'd see them. Met my wife down there. She's from Connecticut.
Oh
She
wow.
really relocated up to Boston to take a couple jobs.
Is
So
is she in
yeah,
the
we got roots here.
is she in the medical field
So
too?
yeah. My wife is an anesthesiologist and focusing on pain medicine,
Oh
so
wow.
alleviating people's chronic pain. So we're busy. We're both working full time, and two boys, and so
That's awesome.
ideally like to work a little less and play a little bit more poker. That's the plan, the focus over the
Right.
next few years, I think. So
You pull a couple more 100K bounties, and I think you're on your way. And make a couple more final tables. You're knocking on the door, buddy.
hey, it's funny you say that. I was getting dressed and look what I found. I got the magic envelope here.
Oh, that's great, dude.
That's the 100K bounty envelope right
I
there.
love it. You gotta frame it or something, man. With the picture, with the frame, you gotta put like the frame with
Gotta frame
with
it.
the picture.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
I gotta get a picture with like you, Josh Marin, Jeremy Clemens, the people that are railing me as I was drawing the 100K bounty. That was the most
Sick.
wild moment ever.
That is awesome, man. So, and I have I want to speak to your wife a little bit, because I'm married. I've been married for 20 years,
Yeah,
and I can say for certain that the journey I have on the felt and streaming and everything that comes with poker and what I'm doing right now, I couldn't do it personally without the support of my wife. And I can imagine,
yeah.
so you got two young kids. You're traveling, across the country to play these events. Albeit you're doing well, but I have to imagine that
Yep.
there's got to be a lot of support that you have from your wife in doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Shout out to Alex. Without her, it would be impossible. Everything that's going on. So, from minute one, I mean, she trusts me. She understands the sacrifice, the dedication, and she's all in. She sees the passion I have for poker and building the community, building the game, and on this journey I'm on. So she's fully supportive. Makes a lot of commitments and sacrifices. So I owe it all to her.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I think what do they say? Behind every good man is a good woman, or I don't know the exact saying, but yeah, uh,
For sure.
I could definitely relate to that. I think that's cool, man. You got to have that in your life in your immediate circles. You got to have that support. Uh,
100%.
it, it's so critical because if she didn't support you, you'd be in one of two paths. You'd either be not playing or you'd be playing without her support, and
Sure.
either one of those probably takes you down a completely different road, one way or another. Uh,
Yeah, you got to find that balance and the sustainability. I mean, there's a reason why most of the highest level crushers are 20-something-year-olds, that without a
right,
family or kids.
right.
So striving to find that balance is first and foremost on my brain, going forward. And I think we've done a pretty good job so far. But they say happy wife, happy life. So you got to keep the wife happy first and foremost. And so yeah, it's I'm glad you shout them out because there's a lot of spouses, significant others out there that are this journey would be impossible. All the people that love this game without the support of the family. So that's really important.
I couldn't agree more. Just a couple things real quick. I do want to let everybody know who's in the chat. I did pin Josh's tags for Twitter, Instagram in the chat. He's at Salem Witch EMD on Twitter. There's a link there. I'm having issues getting the links properly put in here for Instagram, but you can search Salem Witch EMD. Also, make sure you search his new Instagram channel of Josh Guindon Poker. It's JoshGuindon Poker. If you can't spell poker, you're in the wrong room. uh, but please do make sure you hit the follow. He's been putting up shorts and videos, whether it's preps. So now I'm going to bring up some of these videos later and posting updates there and got some good content he's putting together. Please make sure you guys are following those links or following Josh with the information here provided. Big shout out to Jay Beatty, Meta John, Bexkey, Medi, R Runner, BSB Bob, Fatal,
Nice.
Cabby, everybody who's here in the chat. If I missed anybody,
Awesome.
my apologies. You moved to Boston. How long you been in Boston?
I've been up here about 5 years now.
About 5 years.
Yeah.
And so you were in the ER when you were in Texas, and then you moved to
Yep.
Boston, and you've been in the ER for quite some time now, and I
Yep.
I bet you got. Give us at least one crazy story that you want to share.
Mm.
I would love to hear one crazy ER story if you could.
Let's see. I'm trying to think what's politically correct PG-13 that I can share.
You know,
A lot of stories in the ER are naturally pretty much some
grief.
interesting stuff. Yeah, I got some things. So there's one story that's pretty crazy. So I was in Houston during what's called Hurricane Harvey. It was like a massive flood. The whole
Right.
city of Houston flooded, and um, I was working the 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. shift. I was a resident in training. And by about 7 p.m., it was raining so much, it was just flooding the entire city. We knew we weren't going to be able to get out of the hospital, and our relief for that shift wasn't going to be able to get in. So we were just stuck in the hospital indefinitely. So I got real comfortable in patient room 8. I got a blanket and pillow and got locked into a bed there, had my little remote for the TV for the next like 3 or 4 days. But anyways, so there was three resident training doctors like myself and two head doctors like I am now, and I devised a schedule where we had shifts going forward. So I was going to work the 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. shift, and this was indefinite. We didn't know how many days we were going to be there. We were just stuck in the hospital. It was LBJ Hospital, which we affectionately call LBJ Island now because it's kind of perched up on an island. The whole city flooded except this small
Oh
community
wow.
hospital. Yeah, so I was going to work the 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. shift. My buddy would work the 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. shift. My other buddy would work overnight. So the very first overnight, I'm sleeping. It's about 5:30 in the morning, and I had my alarm set. My buddy comes in, wakes me up. He's like, Josh, wake up. And I'm like, my shift's not starting yet. I'm like, go away. I was pretty angry, right? And he goes, no. He's like, you have to wake up. You have to come out here. I'm like, what? So we go out there. There's 3 dump trucks full. The back of the dump truck full of people. It's
Oh
over a
my.
thousand people that just show up to the
Oh
hospital,
my
just all at the same time. There's like me and another doctor. We're just looking like a
god. Oh
thousand
my
people
god.
just looking at us. And we're like, what do we do with these people? Right. So most of them weren't super sick or injured. They just needed some refuge, a warm place to be. Right. So, but anyways, we ended up being there 4 days before the waters finally receded. And yeah, it was just a wild time of caring for people. During the day, they would use boats to go out and pick people up and bring them into the hospital. And just some wild stories there. Remind me, I'll tell you some better stories off air. But
Okay.
yeah, that was something I'll never forget. Just being
Yeah.
stuck in the hospital for 4 days, and I feel like you could really relate to patients too, being in that bed for like 4 days. I mean, I had the blanket, I had my own room. It was just a strange experience, but yeah, it was one of those things. I was happy that it happened. I'm like glad that I got to experience it, but I would never want to do it again, right? Like
Right. Right.
just being stuck in the hospital for 4 days
I
there.
can,
It was,
I,
it was a
I've
while.
seen like the ER shows of basically what you're talking about, and like, the power goes out. They're waiting on backup generators. Somebody's in the
Yeah,
middle of surgery. The power's gone.
yeah,
So that's crazy. I can only imagine when you're in those like natural disaster type situations,
yeah.
the influx of patients, and I mean, even to your point, people just coming for refuge,
Yeah.
because it's the only place above water, right?
Yeah.
You know,
It's extremely resource limited. Like a lot of patients didn't have access to food or water or their medications
it's
for
crazy.
several days. And so they were really sick. They were bringing them in 2, 3, 4, 5 days later and just really critically ill people. So, and resource limited. It was a wild experience, but
That's crazy, man.
yeah.
I think I've said this before about you, man. I think you're a hell of a fucking poker player. But beyond that, I think you're an even better person, and I think that says a lot because I think you're one of the best poker players that I know personally, and I think you're probably 10x the person of you are as a poker player. You're just a really good person. You have a really good mindset. You're just all around a great guy, man. And I'm just very fortunate to have crossed paths with you and consider you a friend. Um, and I think the type of work you do kind of speaks to that. It's the amount of work that you had to put in to become a doctor, and then what you're doing on a daily basis in the ER is, I can't even imagine. Some people couldn't stomach what you're doing, and you're out there, just clocking in, clocking out, and saving people's lives, and like it's just normal, and that's your normal, and I think it's incredible what you're doing, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate the kind words. I could say a lot of nice things about you too. And I want to come back to the point about community and what you're doing for our poker community, especially. I mean, yesterday we had the 5 year anniversary of the Stream Team family. Great private
How
tournament.
cool was that,
What a
man?
day.
That was
That
fun.
was so cool. It was so cool seeing everyone coming together here and all the stories over the day, over the years, and to see what we've experienced in just 5 short years and where we're headed with that. It's really incredible. But there were some, heartfelt stories. Those last, two people I can think of specifically, how it kind of saved or changed their lives. This community we have, and I think of you as the pillar of this community and all the things you do for so many people. You don't get enough thanks, and I just want to say thank you for everything you do for me, for us, for our community. It's really incredible.
It means a
I'm
lot,
happy to
man.
know you and super privileged to be your friend. So got a lot of good times ahead.
For sure, for sure. It means a lot to me, man. So, kind of transitioning into where you're going, I have to imagine, and maybe I don't want to speak for you, but I have to imagine that working in the ER has to have some skills that translate to being on the felt. It's just absolute chaos, to the story you just shared, and having to needing to have a certain cool, calm, and collectiveness that allows you to be successful to save people's lives. And I think that there has to be something there that helps you translate into the chaos of the tournament poker world. And I don't know, like I said, I don't want to speak for you, but
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of parallels. In poker, patience and aggression are super important. You got to know when to be patient. You got to know when to be aggressive, and that's in the emergency room. And training to be a doctor for so long, you got to took a lot of delayed gratification. Still paying off the student loans, right? So,
Right.
yeah, but then when a patient's critically ill, you got to know when to be aggressive to try to save their life. But there's a lot of kind of softer skills too, reading people, assessing the situation, evaluating a complex system situation without all the variables are unknown. So I think there's a lot of carryover there, and I've got like a mathematical background too, so I think that helps me. But certainly my day job, what I do, and reading people too, right?
Right.
Someone could say I've got this pain, and you have to just instantly be able to kind of try to figure out, okay, are they have something they're dying from, or do they just need someone to kind of hear their story and need a hand to hold, right? So,
Right.
which are two completely different pathways. So, yeah, I'm reading people every day. Focus on the patient's delayed gratification. I've done that my whole life, and figuring out when to be aggressive. I think that's translated well to help me be successful early on in poker.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Bexkey is asking about COVID. I can only imagine during COVID. COVID was probably bananas. You probably had limited resources,
Yeah.
a tremendous amount of influx of people coming in, patients coming in for a myriad of reasons,
Yeah.
maybe COVID related or not COVID related, and then you have
Yeah.
COVID issues that could affect their issue that they have. So there's probably quite the jungle, I would imagine, during COVID.
Yeah, it was a brutal time. I mean, for 3, 6, 9 months, it was just absolutely horrendous. The vaccine came out, and we saw people not getting quite as sick. But it was a fear of the unknown. I didn't know if I was gonna get it and drop dead with my young family, right? Because we were seeing people come in with oxygen levels in the 30 or 40% when normally should be 98 to 100%, and I'm seeing multiple people like that a day.
It's
We've never seen
crazy.
anything like it. I hope we never see anything like it again. It's basically over. I mean, I haven't seen anyone pass away from COVID in well over a year, thankfully. So,
Right.
but yeah, it was a brutal time. I somehow I never got COVID during working in the emergency room. Did get it another time outside of the hospital, but yeah, but
Probably Vegas, probably poker.
might have been during
May or
might have
may
been
not have
during a
been.
poker tournament. May or may not have been during a poker tournament.
Yeah. Speaking of COVID, and you touched on the Stream Team Fam, and it's kind of what's the word I want to look for? I don't know. It's the first domino, I would say, at least, that really kind of started the Club WPT Stream Team Fam, that we know it. We talked about it yesterday, but
Yeah,
you had Matt Savage, Lynn Martin, Tony Dunst, Vince Van Patten streaming almost every day, connecting with the community, which I thought was brilliant.
yeah,
And obviously COVID restrictions got lifted. They got back to their normal, work life for the tour and doing what they
hmm
do. And then guys like Smithy, and several Cavitt and several others that took on the reins to start streaming, kind of kept the fire burning, so to speak, as far as this amazing community that we have. And like you mentioned
sure.
yesterday, we celebrated 5 years of this community, the Stream Team Fam being together, and what an amazing
Yeah,
community we have. And I'm
for
very
sure.
fortunate that that the dominoes went the way they did, and
Yeah,
I wouldn't have never met you and everybody here
yeah,
that's in the chat. I don't think,
yeah.
and probably would have crossed paths on the felt somewhere, but
Yeah, probably not to this degree. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think talk about silver linings. I mean, COVID, the pandemic, what a terrible situation, but to see what with our Stream Team family and the community that we've built, what's come out of that, it's really incredible. Not everything's all good or bad, right?
right, right.
A lot of times that was a terrible situation, but look what's come out of it and got a lot of good momentum going forward. You got to keep your head up no matter what the situation, right? So yeah, definitely a huge plus out of a terrible situation.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, I mean, what a fun event yesterday. I mean, Tony Dunst, to see him stop by yesterday, that was so cool, man. And Lynn
Yeah.
Gilmartin. I mean, think about this. Like, she's in Sydney, traveling somewhere halfway across the world. She's minutes away from getting on her plane, and she has that wherewithal to say, "Hey, I want to stop in and say hello, and
Yeah.
pay my respects to the community that she helped build and coined. She actually, from what I understand, she's the one who coined the Stream Team family. So,
Yeah.
really cool event. It was a lot of
It's
fun.
it's interesting you brought that up. It's just something I just thought of. But there's poker, you can play poker anywhere, right?
Right.
Moneymaker Tour, WSOP, World
Absolutely.
Poker Tour, Club WPT, whatever. But that first time that I went to the Venetian 2022 and won that first package and played a $5,000 event, meeting the people of the World Poker Tour, that was what sold me on it and kept me coming back. I mean, we could all play poker anywhere, truly,
Right.
but just I've never met people. I say this time and time again. I'm super genuine. Like I've never met people at an organization, top to bottom. I mean, Adam Pliska to you name it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a great group of people and such an organization. I think it has to do with poker is attracts a certain type of people, fun, like-minded, energetic, charismatic people. But also there's something about the WPT, the World Poker Tour, that's has like a close-knit family feel that I'm really attracted to. So And the stream team family is part of that, of course. I mean, that's a microcosm of the World Poker Tour. I'm super honored, privileged to be right in it, to be a part of it. So it's an incredible time.
Totally agree. Meta John saying in the chat he agrees. Mojo says Lynn was posting on her stream pics. She would have people send pics, and she would rotate the pics in like a slideshow into her stream. And she's saying that's effectively how the stream team fam name got coined, which is cool. And I want to lean into what you're saying too because I. I say this a lot, and I honestly kind of emphatically say it a lot because I personally mean it, and it's worth repeating over and over and over because I really believe what the WPT does is they really create a friendly and family oriented tour
Hmm.
that you really
Yeah,
don't get anywhere else.
yeah,
Not to bash the WSOP,
yeah.
I think the WSOP is imperative to the poker sphere, if you will. I think they're doing good things, but I've been to WSOP circuits. I've been to the WSOP Summer Series. I, I don't know that I've ever once even met or shook hands with a WSOP ambassador or GG ambassador for what it is now.
Hmm.
Where the WPT, they're always accessible, they're always available, they're extremely down to earth from the Royal Flush crew, like you said,
Hmm.
to Adam Pliska walking around shaking hands,
Hmm.
Hermans. Matt Savage is on Twitter, like answering people's questions
Yeah.
and responding. And, I think that, in addition to that, the WPT event in December with the win is a poker dream. I think it's such an incredible event from what the win does, the WPT does, and what's awesome about it too from the Club WPT side of it, it's kind of like a family reunion for us. We all, many of us get to go and hang out and just a special event. And I couldn't
Yeah.
agree more with you with everything you said about the WPT. It really is a different experience that you get anywhere else in the poker world.
Yeah, I think just the world, talking about WPT and the World Championship at the Win every December. I mean, we could have like three interviews just about the times and experiences we've had at the
I,
champs. I mean,
know,
talking
right?
about some stories out of that. I don't know if it might break the internet, some of those stories.
We had a couple all night stories, and when I say all night, I mean all night, not just
Yeah,
figuratively. But yeah, and a lot of fun. Amazing crew of people.
for sure.
Becky says, I really like this. She says, what she always says is she went to Vegas by herself, but she never felt alone when she got there. And
Oh yeah,
I think that's cool, man. I think
yeah,
that speaks to what we're saying about the WPT. I think it speaks to
yeah,
the community, the Club WPT.
yeah. I
And
would encourage on that token. I mean, I would encourage anyone who's remotely considering it to come out to a WPT stop. The December at the Win is obvious example, but I'm trying to rally everyone to Bay 101 in October. I think that's a cool opportunity to have everyone meet. I've heard, no one's really experienced it. The OG people have, but
I haven't.
it hasn't been running for a few years. But I want to get everyone out there. It's going to be bananas. So yeah, but any stop that anyone's at, I would like to have people join me and get out there, But Bay 101 for sure. You going? You going to Bay
I'm
101?
gonna do everything in my power. I really want to go. I've watched all the WPT episodes from the very first Gus Hansen final table, and
Yeah,
I the Bay 101 stops just seem to have like a different like electricity, almost like
yeah,
maybe like a Ryder Cup vibe in
right.
comparison to golf.
Yeah,
Like it was
yeah,
just
uh-huh.
you would see like on day ones, like the rails on the side were just
Yeah,
going crazy,
yeah,
and it just has like a real fun energy. To your point, it hasn't been going for quite some time, and
yeah.
I know I think Matt Savage started his TD path up there at Bay 101 or early in
Uh,
his career he was up there, so I know he'll hold
uh,
that close to his chest too.
Yeah, very cool. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you're gonna join me. I'm holding you to it.
All right, I'll hold me to it. I'm okay with that. I
I'm gonna tell
got.
Poker Wifey you're going.
You tell her. Go ahead. Uh, One funny story from Bay 101 that I remember. I can't remember who. Kathy Liebert was a shooting star. She had a bounty on her, and one of the things that they did was you got a shirt with their picture on it, and then they would sign it if you knocked them out, and
Mhm,
then there was a
mhm.
prize, like an actual prize bounty as well. And she's heads up at this point with I can't remember who. Somebody will have to correct. Let me know in the chat if you guys can help me.
Mhm.
But she finished. She's heads up, and Matt Savage is on the mic, and he's like, you know what we need to do? He's like, we need to like spicing this things up a little bit. And he brings out her bounty, the shirt, folds it up, and puts it like on top of like the cash prize. You know, they bring out all the cash on the table, and her bounty shirt's like sitting right on it, and she gets so upset. She was like, "Why would you do that? Why would you do that?" And I talked to Matt about it after. He was like, "I would do it again."
That's funny. That's great. Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, who was that? I don't think she won it, did she?
No, she didn't. She ended up finishing
Yeah,
second. Yeah, she did not win
yeah,
it.
yeah. I can't remember who that was.
Um,
That's a great moment.
no, for sure. What got you into poker? Like, you were playing in in college and high school? Where was that
Yeah,
first seed of poker? Where did that come from?
first first two tournaments, I think the people always say like when you start playing poker, you have to run above average because so many people will just quit or get, into another job or whatever. But the very first two times I meet that definition, right? I always was into math growing up, so I was always, kindergarten, I did first grade, I did third grade, second grade, I did sixth grade, and so on. So I was always advanced in math, and so I like numbers a lot. So that was my first thing. But when I was 17, I was about to start college. I went up to my sister's college and played with a group of 10 guys. We all put $10 in for a little game. It was the first time I ever played No Limit Hold'em. I used to play cards with my dad growing up, just, five card draw and that sort of thing. But first time playing, I had no idea what I was doing. Ran well, got lucky, of course, and got first place. So I won the $100 winner take all. And then when I got to got to the college, I started playing the cash games, like I told you about. A good place called Downstream Casino, just over into Oklahoma, a little Indian casino there. Really nice casino. It's still going. Connor Richards was talking about going there. But anyways, the Run Good Poker series still goes through there. Anyways, so first tournament I ever played in, there was 120 people, $120 buy-in. I did a last longer with my buddy, and I ended up chopping it I think three or four ways. So chopped it for first tournament I ever played.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, and then just took an interest from there. I mean, I'd go sit down at a 1 2 table with $100. Like I said, I had no money growing up, and so would go to the casino with like $200, $100 maybe, and just be so nervous, wait for aces or ace king,
Yeah.
and try to double up. But really took an interest then. It was just such a fun challenge and competition. I played chess growing up, so like strategy based games, and it was a natural evolution. But now, kind of, in my 30s, it's just kind of it's a fun outlet. It's a fun strategy. I told a couple of my colleagues, I'm like, I don't ever need a therapist. I just play poker. It's like a fun skill-based game, and it's the more and more I get into it, the more I love it because of the community and the strategy and that challenge trying to be a better version of yourself. So
Right.
yeah, I really love it. I'm on a fun journey. So
That's really cool, man. That's really cool. I love oh my screen got stuff here. Okay, there we go. No, I love it, man. I love hearing the poker stories, the start to the games for people, and I remember when I was young, playing. You're talking about going into these rooms with $100 $200. I remember that it can be intimidating. I remember the first time I was in a casino and I was like, oh my god, this is real. I was like
yeah,
8 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old, playing cards in someone's garage after a little league baseball game, and we would
yeah.
we would get like when you're that young, we used to get lunch money. And I remember not eating lunch for like weeks, just so that I could save up my
Mhm.
poker money. And then
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, man,
That's
really
great.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad would always, it's probably 4, 5, 6 years old. He would get our coins out, pennies and dimes, and we'd play 5 card draw. And just I remember that time, spend that time with my dad, and I just idolized him, of course. So just having him show me the ropes. I think there's something there, subconsciously that remember those really good times. Keeps me coming back.
Absolutely. And you touched on something that I actually want to kind of get into is your Hendon Mob. And you talked about like what the importance of like having a good start to keep for many that stay in the game, because otherwise people end up um, you know thinking, oh, like this is just too hard, I failed right
Hmm.
away, and it could be
Yeah.
discouraging. And when I look at your Hendon Mob, what was really cool, I'm going to pull it up right now, is uh, your first live cash on Hendon Mob uh, is at the Venetian. And rewinding back
Yeah.
before that, um, playing on Club WPT, you win your package. I think it was like a 6 or 7K package at the time.
Hmm.
I think it was a 5K, right? Was it a 5K?
5K, yeah.
Yeah, it was a
7K package, 5K tournament.
during the summer, right? It was a summer event,
Yeah, I feel
right?
like it was July or August, something like that.
Yeah,
June, July, August. Yeah.
and kind of to follow that up, like, okay, so you win a seat on Club WPT, you go to the
Hmm.
Venetian, you get your first cash, and you're like, oh, okay, and then boom, you win another seat, and I don't know the exact order, but then you end up at I think the Voyage might have been next,
Hmm.
or
Yep.
and
Voyage. Yep.
then and then it was Jacksonville, best bet, right?
Yep. Yep.
And
Hmm.
then the 5 milli, and then
Yep.
Seminole Hard Rock, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
I
Yep.
mean, what, like, this shit is crazy. You have 5
Yeah.
times. You've only been to five
It's
WPT main events. You've
yeah,
cashed all five. That's
it's
that's unheard
it's
of.
insane. It's unbelievable. Yeah,
It's
yeah, I
incredible.
don't even know what to say about that. Yeah, I mean the first one is pretty crazy because the first, probably a few of those, most of them, the Venetian for sure, the cruise, best bet to a lesser extent, the $5 million free roll. I've had a real chance to win first in all of those, and didn't end up winning first, obviously. But I've had a chance, a real chance at a point in the tournament where I felt like I had a chance to win it. So yeah, so running way above average, like just incredibly lucky is the obvious thing to say about that. Yeah, I,
So,
I don't even know what to say.
Metajohn just said something, and I, I really want to say this because he says you put in the work, and so I think it sounds lucky. It sounds cliche, but luck really isn't just like it falls from the sky type of thing to me. Like, luck
Yeah,
is where hard work and opportunity cross paths with each other,
that's a good point.
and I really feel, and I've said this to you on the off camera before, but this parlay or this sun run that you have, it's a product of things that happened well before poker even started.
Yeah,
Your story about being in Texas and be a lead ER doctor in Boston, and your priorities, your mental preparation, um, your reads on people, and it's not just you rolled dice and it came up, seven, 100 times in a row or something like that. I think you
yeah,
really put in the work to put yourself in a position to be lucky, if you will.
yeah,
And I think it applies to anything, not just poker related, even.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. I would want to emphasize one thing you said there. I mean, every time I won a package or was about to go to a main event, I looked at that as an opportunity and like just felt incredibly lucky to have the opportunity and thought, how can I maximize the situation? So I remember just studying, going to that first 5K. Yeah, before that, I think I'd probably played a $300 or $400 buy-in tournament before that, because I just hadn't gotten into big live tournament poker yet. But I studied pretty hard. I studied charts, I studied strategy, I watched videos and practiced my game online and really try to maximize my ability. So yeah, it's not just completely luck. It has been hard work. Definitely running above average, obviously. I've been unlucky a little bit too. On the voyage, there was I can tell you at least one crazy spot from each tournament, but on
Yeah,
the
I'd love
voyage
to
there was
hear that.
11. Yeah, there's one good story here. So one time I was unlucky. I can be unlucky too, believe me. But so the 11 people left on the voyage out of 293 people, a $5,000 buy-in tournament, WPT main event. We're down to 11. Final table at 9. And my goal, I decided, last few tables that I wanted to try to win the tournament. I want to do everything I wanted to do to win the tournament because one of my biggest goals in poker right now as a poker player is to become a World Poker Tour main event champion. So I'm going to do study and work hard toward that goal. But anyway, so there's 11 people left. I had 650,000 chips. It was about 15 big blinds. Most people had about 1 million in chips. Dan Sepiol, who had just come off the $5.2 million win at the champs, he was sitting directly to my left, and he was being pretty splashy, pretty aggressive, like he's kind of loose aggressive player, and he had about 1.5 million chips maybe. So it limps around to me in the small blind. I have ace of clubs, king of clubs. And I got 15 big blinds. He's got probably 30. So I'm just like, oh, dream spot, right? So
Right.
trying to think like, all right, how can I extract all the value from Dan Sepiol? I'm like, I mean, the obvious thing is to raise. And I was like, I could just limp. I could go all in. That's kind of scared money. That didn't seem like the best way to maximize the situation. So I just limp. I complete, and he within just instantly just jams all in. So it's like 1.5 million of his chips in the middle, and I've got 650,000, 15 big blinds. I'm just like, dream scenario. So I snap call, and he turns over ace six of spades. So and I got ace king of clubs. So 69% chance to have like, third place
Piles of
money, third place
chips.
chips,
Yeah.
piles of chips, guaranteeing myself final table, putting myself a good chance to win it or be a top few for sure. Anyway, so flop is 987, two spades. So now he's got flush draw and
The
open ended.
world.
The world.
Oh
I'm just
my
like, just
goodness.
just crying. He's like, I don't know the exact number, 60 some percent favorite. Just like, this is sad. So then I'm like, well, I'm not giving up yet. There's still hope. So turn is a nine of diamonds. I'm like, okay, pretty good. Now we're about 50-50. Yeah, river was like a three of spades. So he binks the flush. But I was 69% favorite. I lost over $100,000 in equity on that one hand. But anyway,
Sheesh.
but you got to keep your head up. Some people I think that could have like demolish their spirit, right? But I knew I took a chance because I wanted to win first, and I knew I had to accumulate chips that would give myself the best chance to win first. So I would play it the same way I think again,
I
but
like it.
I can run a little unlucky too, I suppose.
And speaking of that, I have another story, and I think you're going to tell it better. I want to jump to your Seminole Hard Rock. You ran into a spot, you're on day one, um, and um, I think you're probably about halfway through the day, and you flop the nuts. You run into a backdoor flush or something. I'll let you tell the
Yeah.
story, but
Yeah.
where I wanted to go with that is you, because you mentioned, you got to get back up, you got to keep on moving and on to the
Sure.
next mentality, and 30 minutes later you're buying back in, and you ultimately find the cash, and like that's the kind of like mentality you have to have with honestly is poker in general, but especially tournament poker. And
Mhm.
I don't know, you tell the story better than I do, so tell us about
Yeah.
that.
There's a guy named Jeremy who's like a crusher pro directly on my right, like a loose aggressive and just being crazy, aggro kind of maniac style, nice guy. And so this guy opened under the gun. I've got 20,000 chips. It's like 35 big blinds. I had the effective stack, and he calls. I got 9-8 suited, I believe on cutoff or something. So I called. This was like two big blinds to win. It seemed like a good place to kind of come behind. It was pretty passive. I wasn't going to get squeezed out from the rest of the table most likely. So flop was 5-6-7, two diamonds. I got 9-8 of hearts. So the under the gun raiser, he checks this Jeremy guy bets 10,000 into a pot of 6,000, and I've got the nuts. I mean, I got 9-8, but he's got back doors. I've only got 18,000 at this point, so I'm like, and I kind of want to entice the other guy in, so I just call. And then the turn was like a queen of clubs, pretty much a blank. And now he bets 800. He bet 10,000 into
Yes.
6,000 on the flop, and then he bets 800 on the turn into like I don't know how many chips that is, 27,000 or something. And so I go on for my last 8,000, and the river ends up being another diamond. So he had 10 9 of diamonds, so he had a gutter with the flush draw. So, but yes, I busted out there. Was pretty down on myself. I took a few like 5 10 minutes to regroup and just kind of get my mind right before jumping back in, and jumped back in, made a good run, just 50,000 starting chips, and I ended up with 250,000 by the end of the day. So I was able
That's
to run up a good stack. Ended up 118th out of about 1,755 players. So
incredible.
made a decent run there. Beat out over 93% of the field. So, but yeah, resilience. You got to have that. Life's hard. You get knocked down. You got to get your mind right. You got to have people supporting you. I think I messaged you, told you about the hand, and
Yeah.
he kind of gave me some encouragement and got back in there and
Love it.
made a good run. So that's kind of
I'll tell you
part of
right
life.
now, Brad Owen fired 8 bullets into that tournament. He finally
Saw that.
finally bagged into day two and still didn't
Wild.
make the money.
Oh, really?
And then he goes and fires like I don't know, it was like maybe a 5K high roller to end. It was like the
Yeah,
or a 3K closer event,
I
and
saw
then
that.
and then like final tables it. You know,
I saw that.
and I don't know if he final table, but he like makes a super deep run. Like
Yeah,
and
he made up for it.
kind of the same resilience. And I don't know that I'm firing 8 bullets into a tournament personally,
No,
but
especially at
um,
$3,500 a piece. I don't think any of us are doing that.
yeah, but it does speak again to that resilience, and you gotta just kind of be on to the next. Because if you, I heard Chance Cornet say this in a short. He says if you're thinking about the hand in the past, then it's going to affect you in the hands that you're being dealt. And
No,
he,
yeah,
he made a comment like, write it down, talk about it with your friends later, but you have to be in the moment, and you gotta have a short mindset,
yeah,
short memory, and when it comes to that, and just you gotta be
yeah.
resilient.
I think that's something I've been elite at starting out. I mean, I don't have the experience that these guys have, like Chance Corner than them, but I've got the mentality, the mindset of being locked in. Like every hand I'm playing, I look at it as an opportunity. Assessing the situation? What can I do, given the current chip stack or player dynamics or spot in the tournament? Right, you got to factor all that in, and bad beats happen, right? But you got to get rid of that stuff as soon as possible,
Right.
assess the situation, figure out how you can maximize right going forward. So I feel like I've done a good job at that so far.
Absolutely, absolutely. Meta John says in chat, he said, you taught me so much about how to be a student of the game. And I think the student of the game, I really like that phrase because um, it to me that mentality is a learning mentality. It's a constant learning mentality, and the willingness to grow and find your own leaks and improve upon them. And that this is what people in the community feel about you and what you're doing, and you truly are an inspiration to this community. Definitely in the Club WPT community, we kind of claim you. He's one of ours, and to see what you're doing, it's incredible, man. And looking at your hand in mob, you got your best live cash at 30,000. You got 115K in live earnings. Like I said, you're 5 for 5 in the WPT mains. I mean, what a story, man! And here you are now as Club WPT ambassador, the first ever. You're a trendsetter, man. You are literally, the next. I personally feel like you're the next moneymaker effect, and I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to like put pressure on you to be the next moneymaker, but I feel like that. I
Awesome.
really do, and I think that you are an inspiration to many. And keep doing what you're doing, man. We love you, man.
Thanks, man. Let's appreciate the kind words. So I heard someone say some proverb or something that poker is probably the most complex game ever invented because it involves math and psychology to varying unknown degrees at any given time. It's such a complex game. I just find it so fascinating to learn it, to study it, and to better myself and improve my strategy. And then we get the community and people like you and Stream Team family and just being a part of that on top of that, it's just gravy, you know? So, yeah, appreciate the kind words, man. It's being the Club WPT ambassador. It's a little intimidating, right? I mean, it's such a big honor and privilege, like representing everyone. I feel like I could name 10, 20 other people too that could be in the same shoes I am. So me to be the first one, it's super humbling and it's an incredible privilege. And I'm gonna work hard for the Stream Team family to kind of build up and continue what we have. I mean, we have something great, but to see that grow, right?
Right.
There's so many things we can do, build the community, have events. Going to focus on some content coming out about strategy and how we can prepare to get ready for these events and maximize our time there. So yeah, looking forward to my role and the next few months and years going forward. So really exciting time.
Yeah, man, we're excited to see the next phase of your journey as well. And this is a perfect segue. I have a couple of shorts that you prepared that I want to share with everybody. It kind of leans into a little bit of what you're talking about. So this first one I want to share is let me see if I have these pulled up in the right order. So this one, I think I might be wrong. I think this was your first video. This is your preparation video, and let me go ahead and play it. If you're in the chat, if you're in the stream, and you want to hear it, you could play it, but make sure you mute after because there'll be a really bad echo when we're speaking. But I'm gonna go ahead and play it for the crew. It's this 57-second clip. And it kind of really leans into what you're talking about the preparation and what you're wanting to do with these shorts and putting out content. So let's lead into this. Here we go.
JoshGuindonPoker here, SalemWitchEmD, the new Club WPT ambassador. I'm going to be doing a video series leading up to the first Sunrun Bounty live tournament, the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open.
Hold on, I don't have it pulled up. There we go. Let's rewind and start over.
JoshGuindonPoker here, SalemWitchEmD, the new Club WPT ambassador. I'm going to be doing a video series leading up to the first Sunrun Bounty live tournament, the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open. First one, this is called preparation. So how do we prepare? How do I get ready for a big event like this? I think it comes down to three things. Number one, mentality. You got to have that confidence. You got to have that winner's edge. Know that you can compete. You also had to have studied and get ready for a big event like this. I like to review the GTO charts, know those down cold, have that as a baseline. I like to watch a few preparation video series from Jocka Coaching, Jonathan Little, and Dean Eggs. Also, you need to get your mind right, whether it be light exercise. I'm big on breathing and meditation. Make sure you're hydrated, good food, avoiding too much alcohol. That way we can be ready to compete. So come down for preparation, mentality, study, and get your mind right. Let's go.
Love it. Love that. I'm going to lean into a couple of things you said in here, the studying and the coaching and stuff. But before I get to that, I want to show your other clip too. But what I like about this video specifically is you talk about this, and I've talked about you with this in the side chats. You've mentioned it in the streams before, but I think it's so critical, the mental preparation that you need to have. Oh yeah, guys, everybody in the chat, I have Josh emotes in the chat, so have fun with those. I forgot to tell you guys when I started. Have fun with those. Let's light up the chat with some Josh chat emotes. You speak on this a lot, and I think it's so critical, man. I think so. It's so easy oftentimes when we get knocked out of a tournament to isolate the bad beat or the misplayed hand, which all of these are really, really important, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. But I think there's so much importance that you have weighed in on about the preparation, the mentality that goes into it before you're even dealt cards. And I don't know, you want to elaborate on that or anything else that you'd like to share on that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, poker, people focus on the cards, but it's a mental game. It's mentally, physically draining to be at one of these long series. I mean, you're not just playing one day or 5 hours like you're on ClubWPT. Ideally, you want to be playing 12 hours a day for 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row, or however long the tournament series is. So understanding, the systems behind that, how are you going to get your food breaks, your snack breaks, regulate your caffeine, make sure you get a good night's sleep, make sure you stay sane, right? A lot of people don't think about that when you're going into a major tournament. And so the pros have an edge because they have a lot of that stuff figured out. Now, some of them are cutting down their EV by some things that are going on at these tournament series, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, I just think that it's a mental game, and I experienced that the first time I played at the Venetian. I got 48th out of 1175, but I just remember far into day two, I was just like seeing double. I couldn't count, like add 3 plus 7. I was just like, what is going on? So I knew I had to focus on that. And so I've done a few things, to ensure that my mind is sharp. I mean, because there's some really big opportunities that come 10, 11 hours into a tournament day where people are getting sleepy, making bad decisions. And if you're sharp and mentally acute, you're gonna have a lot of EV there, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's huge. Something I focused on and will continue. I can still improve on in a lot of ways. Eating clean food, some meditation, light exercise, not too much alcohol, doing what you can to make sure you're getting 7, 8 hours of sleep. All these things are so crucial at a tournament stop to make sure you've got a good chance to win a tournament.
Absolutely. And you think about these tours and circuits, there's just so many different things that can pull you off track. For starters, we're playing in casinos, right? So everything that comes with a casino can pull
Sure.
you this way, pull you that way. We
Yeah.
talked about, like, it's kind of like a reunion in some of these places, especially tournament poker. It's kind of funny. Like, you just kind of keep running into a lot of the same people, even apart from the stream team fam. You just notice it's like everybody, it's like almost like you wouldn't know it that people live across the country and across the world, but you see the same people, it feels like. And, it's really
Yeah.
easy to get pulled off to the side and go hang out with the buddies you've really put a lot of emphasis on your on the felt mentality and what it takes to be prepared to put yourself in a position, like we said,
Yeah.
to run good and be lucky, and
Yeah.
all that stuff's important.
Yeah, yeah. And I think they're taking a step back is like when you go to one of these tournament series, what's your goal? Are you there to try to make a deep run and have fun and experience everything? That's great, do that. But understand that if you're out partying, celebrating, a few too many drinks, then that's going to take away from your
That's me.
your ability to do well at the table. But if you want to come in, the best way I think of it, if you really want to run deep and make a final table, think of it like a job, right?
Yeah.
If you got an important job to do the next day, you're not going to be out drinking all night, right? Um, but 1 or 2 is fine, and then go to bed and get a good night's sleep. And guess what? You can celebrate after the win or
Right.
after the cash or on the day off. But yeah, it's hard to do. I mean, you got all the friends there, the family. It's Vegas or Florida or wherever, right?
Right.
Some fun place, and it's not easy. But yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, I mean, if just define, I think it's important to define why you're playing a tournament, right?
Right.
Because not everyone's going to want to go there and just treat it like a job. Like, that's not fun either for a lot of people. So,
No, really good points, man. I'm glad. I specifically wanted to spend some time on this because I know that's honestly probably one of my biggest leaks that I can easily. I mean, I have lots of leaks as far as poker goes, but I think it's probably one of my bigger leaks as far as what has, I think, potentially negatively impacted my success or lack thereof is just that. I think I lack a little bit of that discipline that is needed to run deep. And yeah, I'm out there hanging out with the guys and gals in the community, and somebody else is like, "Oh, let's go here." I'm like, I can't say no. Okay, I'm there. I don't have a no button. And you have to, and
yeah.
you got to be definitive in what you're trying to accomplish.
We've done it too. I mean, I remember the first time we played Bellagio cash game. We had a private table. Infinite got us a private table. We played all night long. That was so fun. And I think we made a buffet at like 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And
I
and then we
remember
went
that.
and played a streamed game. Who Who
Sherry hosted the. It was a.
which
It was a meetup game
yeah,
at the
that's what it
Aria
was.
at the Aria.
Aria, that's right, Aria. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
we got a
a bit
tour. We got
hazy.
a tour of the Poker Go studios. It was so cool, man.
Yeah, that was a great day.
I had no sleep, and then
Talk about running
we
on
go
empty. Just
and then we go from that to uh,
the players'
the
party.
players' party. Well, one of us
Yeah,
made it.
one of us made it. Not. I was gonna go take a 15-minute nap at like 4 p.m. before the shuttle, and I wake up at like 1 a.m. Like, what happened?
That's funny, man. No, man, it's good stuff, and let's play your other one. So now we talked about like in this last video, like a little bit the before, and this is I labeled this the game day video. This is right before you're getting ready to play the Seminole Hard Rock. Let me put this one up here.